Commence primary ignition.
Hey, this is Obi Tahi. I play Dr. Pershing, and you are watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another week of the Thursday night skip along or Rebels or Ahsoka Revisited. We're very excited to have this episode happening tonight. Before we reintroduce our very special guest, first running the comm right now is Jeff. How are you, sir?
Good. Glad to be here.
And writing to the Jeff is Dave. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
And we have the return of the governor. John, how are you, sir?
Terrified right now because I got MegaCon Orlando tomorrow. I just don't know I'm going to handle that.
Okay, then. And we love him. He's Skip. How are you, Skip?
Doing good. Excited to be the fifth wheel tonight.
Yes. But completing our six-pack tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. You might know him in episode 4 and 5 of Ahsoka as Lieutenant Lander, but in our hearts, he is the Mandalorian. Welcome back to the Virtual Cantina, Brendan Wayne. Brendan, how are you, sir?
I'm so good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me. Skip, thank you. Spencer, everybody, honestly, absolutely off the chart. Stoked to be here. Nice little, bringing me back from.
There we go. Break up there. Anyways, good to have you.
We're very, very happy to have you. So, Dave, if people want to ask questions, on what platforms and how could they ask them?
They can ask questions on any platform you got, okay? We can take stuff all over the place. It's like, so let's see, we're over on the Facebook. Oh, what happened there? Things went crazy. So we're over on the Facebook. We're on the Instagram. Join us at all of the places on the YouTube. And it just pops up right here in our comment bar. And we will pass those along to Brendan.
Fantastic. And if you're someone like, our programming director and you want your name on the page, how would you do so?
So you got to go in there and you actually have to link yourself to the StreamYard. Okay. Because if you don't link yourself to StreamYard, you're going to see it show up as Facebook user or yada, yada. And we're just going to call you out and make fun of you. So go right there to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Connect your Facebook account to StreamYards. And even if you've done it before, got to do it again.
Yeah, we lost you for a second there.
I can't hear anybody.
We see you again. We didn't see you for a minute.
Well, welcome back, Brendan. So
he said he couldn't hear.
Oh,
can you hear us?
Maybe his ear pods are disconnected or something. Can you hear us?
I'm here.
There we go.
We're still having some issues here, it seems.
Figure this out.
So what? Hear you.
Technical issues are next.
Well, Brendan's technical issues altogether. First and foremost, we have 25 tickets left for the Virtual Cantina Family Vacation this summer with 3 Boonta Eves. We just announced a new Boonta Eve with
You guys probably
ILM's
ask me questions or something, but I literally can't hear a damn thing.
Oh,
Did your
Wait.
earpods disconnect? That could be the problem. Sometimes they get
your earbuds might have disconnected.
you can't hear us. So
Let me text. I'll text this info. But why don't you talk about the trip, guys?
So there's a trip, and it's to a place like in like the other side of the country for me, and there's stuff happening there.
so Family Vacation 2,
Coming right at you.
California.
How about now? Anything?
Can we hear you? Can you hear us?
I
Anyways,
old Phyllis.
he's got backup plan, hopefully. Oh, looks like he's got another device there. Anyway, so Family Vacation 2 here in California, starting in Southern California and heading to San Francisco, including stops at Scum and Villainy and a few notable spots in Hollywood and Los Angeles, and also a place called Disneyland.
Hanging out with some of our best buds.
Definitely. So I've got a new.
Oh, more headphones.
Can you hear us now? Oh, now he went black again. Fun with technology.
Absolutely. So Mr. Von Olin said that was a test to make sure everybody connects to StreamYard. But as we're waiting for Brendan to come back as well, we got some incredible new T-shirts out. Dave, why don't you talk about those?
So anytime you say anything like, Brendan, be warned, is you say something online here, and we're just going to make it into a T-shirt. We got some new ones from the Bad Batch trailer coming out. Bad Batch season, last season, final season's coming. And oh my gracious, the reveals in the trailer. So nobody is ever really gone. So somehow Asajj returned. I don't know. Does Asajj live? That it certainly seems evident to that way. And then here's what we all hope. Somehow Tech return. Could we possibly see Tech again?
Can you hear us, Brendan? Okay, here, let's unmute you. Your mic seems to be muted. Now it's not. It's showing as not connected. It might be better.
How about now?
There
we go.
Woo!
Thank you
Excellent.
for clearing that up. You're getting distressed.
This is. I mean, the failure was epic there.
Yeah, the best of us. So don't take it to heart. Technology is not it's almost as bad as the special weapon that you had to deal with that you didn't like.
Oh, you mean my rifle or the dart saber? Which one?
No, the bastard.
It's the bastard, yeah, the spear. Wasn't it the spear?
Oh, the spear was a hell of a thing to run with. But I'll be honest with you, it was the biggest issue I ever had was the rifle, running with that rifle.
Oh, wow.
It used to catch inside the boot.
Right. That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. They were like, no, we love it. It was in the Christmas special. I was like, yeah. You could probably keep it in the Christmas special from all I care.
Well,
I mean,
how's this? I feel
we
like
love
I've done a grown-up job now.
You're the best. We appreciate it.
I can just see you running to Dawn Deininger and saying, "This
So
catches in my boot. Do something."
I literally said, "Hey, you guys really love this rifle, huh?" They were like, "Yeah. No, it's amazing." I said, "Yeah, it's stupid, and you guys need to cut 6 inches off it." And they looked at me like,
well, blame Favreau because he's gone like public and saying, "I love the holiday special. I got to put stuff in there."
Do you know what, Brendan?
It's all
Michael
over.
Michael Keaton had to do the same thing with the bat years. He couldn't get in the car back in the 90s.
I did not know that. That
6 inches
makes
off his
sense.
ears.
So, I mean, just think about
Pointy
like my N1. They didn't measure the suit. They made it to spec for 9-year-old Anakin. So think about it.
That's fun.
So
Yeah.
we were all extremely excited and had to rewind our screens in episode 4 when we first saw it to see you without the helmet. Like we were all like pointing like we're Leonardo DiCaprio, like, oh my God, that's Brendan in the cockpit. How did that come about to put it up in Ahsoka?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry. Totally. Say it again. I lost you for a second there.
No problem. So what I was saying is that when we first watched episode 4 of Ahsoka, we all did the Leonardo DiCaprio and pointed to the screen and had to rewind. Because we're like, holy crap, it's Brendan without his helmet. How did that happen? It was so awesome.
It's funny. I was we had just finished season 3, or coming down to the end of it, and Dave's like, hey, any interest in blah blah blah, doing something, in Ahsoka. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll do anything for you, but you can't kill my character. That's the only thing I ask. And he's like, no. I got this. This is going to be good. Yeah. And so I took off to Italy with my whole family at the end of the season, and we were gone for almost a month. My parents that were from there, so I was bringing my kids back for the first time to whatever. Anyways, we're out there. It's a big deal, is my point. And next thing you know, I told them, hey, look, I'm gone for this. I won't come back for nothing. Anything you guys want, I won't come back for. If you need reshoots, I'm not here. I'm gone. So I get a call from my AD, Kim Richards, who's just badass. And I'm in, I just arrived to Rome. I'd been in Sicily for 3 weeks. So I had another week left. She's like, so when are we going to see you? And I was like, when I get back from Italy. She goes, what? I'm like, you guys, what's going on? We need you next week. I was like, what? She goes, actually, we were moving it up. We need you on Friday. This was Tuesday. I go, I'm in Italy. She goes, we need to send a person to go give you a COVID test. I'm like, I'm in Italy on another continent. Like they went and got me some concierge COVID guy, came, met me at the hotel, tested me, like flew me back. And I still don't know what the part is. Like, I have no idea.
Just blindly going along with it.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, it's Dave. He's my fearless leader. I'll follow him. So I get there, and then he tells me the story behind the whole character. And, that helmet you've never seen before. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm at liberty to actually tell the story, but I'm going to kind of tell it. That way they can tell it, in the Disney magic or whatever the hell they're going to do with it. But there's a certain person's kid who created an image that was used in that helmet, and it's a huge deal. I'm named after that kid, and it became much more than I think they thought at first as a group, but I think Dave always knew that it was gonna, like, he wanted to do something because he knows, hey, this guy's, the lunch pail guy who's putting on the helmet and running around, and he does not go and pull the rug from under anyone. So I'm going to give him something that will stick in canon forever.
That's
And
cool.
he did, and it's quite amazing. So long story, a little bit shorter. I came back from Italy to play this part, and work with Rosario, who's amazing. I wish I could share the meme, because the first day I worked was we shot her getting pulled out of the water,
Oh,
and it's me and one of the stunt guys takes a picture, and it's me leaning over Rosario, and she's like soaking wet, and it literally says, um, God, I'd really like to get you out of these soaking wet clothes." And then it has a caption from her that says, "Put me back in the water." So like that's where we were at. It was amazing. I got to fly an X-wing. I will say this: first season, I was an X-wing pilot, but they cut me out and put Rick and Deb and Dave and John in. So
But
yeah, I
now
already was, but they cut me out.
You're alumni. You can go to the
Does
bar
that
now.
character have a name? Is it the same character or somebody else entirely?
No, it was funny because Dave did Duke and Lava, which was my father was a pilot in the Navy, and that was his call sign was Lava. So that X-wing is at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland right now.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, but it was really cool, and this was a much better for me at least because I got to work with Carson Teva. So that's just amazing. And then it's cool because I feel like at the end of season 3, I said, "Hey, I'd work for you. I don't want to work for the New Republic, but I'll work for you." And so it was kind of cool to actually come back and get to work for, Carson Teva and be a part of the X-Wings, which when I started, David said to me, "Hey, look, you're exactly what George Lucas wants when he puts a guy in an X-Wing, because they're the cowboys. They're the guys who are just flying an incredible thing." And then for Dave to then, 3 years later, put me in, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, wonderful.
Cool. And,
and in good company as well, because it's not like he hasn't put himself in that same cockpit.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, he dislikes it more than anybody I've ever been around. Like he wants no part of that. Like, I think that was a Favreau thing. It was like, I'm gonna put you in.
Right.
So
makes sense.
Well, he's got his own action figure now, so.
Well, I would tell you, I got one coming, so let's go with my face in an X-wing pilot outfit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Need that.
That's
very cool.
Awesome.
But we are also, spoiler alert, we were very pleased to find that you were one of the surviving pilots after that big battle. So
that was part of my contract.
But you got to put that little.
Dawn did not get that same contract.
She was like, "Sorry, I died."
So that's
But
that was
very
pleased for that.
We're all very excited about the news of Mandalorian and Grogu, the movie. That's going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, last I heard, we were going to go do, another season. That was, it was news to me, to be honest with you. I'd heard rumblings here and there, but nothing official. So when it was announced, I was like, oh. And then when it was announced, John's directing it. It's for me at least, it's really cool because when I got sick, I didn't get to I did some reshoots on John's episode, but I didn't do a lot of work with John.
Oh.
So it was a bummer because I really did want to kind of have that opportunity. So now I'm going to get to go do another movie with him.
That's nice that you get to revisit that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I would have to say is that closing shot of season 3 with the iris, when we see you kick your feet up, I'm like, that is like quintessential Brendan right there. That's not Mando. That's Brendan Wayne. Relaxing in the OK Corral, just watching the little doggies going by and chilling out.
Yeah, it's really funny because I think they had intended for it to go so much like that, I think. But then I was sitting there waiting for them to set up this shot, and I could see him looking over doing like little pointy thing, and I was like, oh, they're gonna move something over here. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. Because I was sitting on the deck just waiting for him to set up with the kid and the frogs and everything. And so I'm sitting there, and finally Rick comes up and goes, "This is the perfect tableau. I want you to just be like that when you sit down." And I was like,
Nice.
"Okay."
Brendan being Brendan.
Brandon,
That's
Brandon, Brandon. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, as I was taught at a young age, if you're going to do something that you're going to have to hold the position, basketball doesn't matter what it is. Make sure it's the most comfortable position you can be in. If you die,
It's a bit
don't
like
die.
that.
Don't be like the guy who's like, "Oh, I want to make sure my arm looks like it broke," because it takes forever to do anything, and they don't want you to move, and it starts
Yeah.
to hurt so much.
using those muscle
And-
groups
and
that
all-
you don't use normally.
Yeah.
I know we're talking mainly about Ahsoka tonight, but I think having met you and recognizing your body language and the way that you act, and, in season 3 when you lean against the tree with
Oh, yeah.
opposite Marty, who's the pirate, that scene, that's you.
I mean,
That's when we
I-
know that's you.
yeah. That was my nod to Boba.
Yeah.
Because he's leaning against the wall, and then he comes off the wall when there's a little issue. And so with Jeremy Bullock, like it just, I love those kind of moments because they're true to the story that you're telling. You're not taking anything away. You're not pulling a blanket over yourself or anything. But at the same time, you're honoring these guys. My grandfather did it as much as he could everywhere. So, like, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
Well
So-
established.
A lot of us were actually in London for Celebration last year, and they actually showed
Yeah.
the premiere of episode 7 on a big screen in the main theater, where Tate had the hero's ending.
Mm.
What was your thoughts on it? That was incredible. I'm messaging him afterwards. I'm like, dude, and he just wrote laughing my ass off, and I'm like, oh man, like what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, Tate, first of all, what a absolute stud.
Mm.
The idea that I mean, I never believe anything. I'll be honest with you. On this show, I never believe anybody dies until, like, I don't know, until you see their bones.
Yeah.
But that was pretty emotional, for real. Like, where we started together. It was Lateef, Ryan, myself, and then pretty much the first person that I worked with that was gonna do anything was Tate. And at that time, I don't think Tate knew he was gonna get a voiceover. They were gonna, voice over him. So, like, we had a lot of things going down, and he's been, if I was down in the dumps, he's always been there. And when I'm stoked, he's always there. He's become a real human that I lean on. So to watch that scene and to watch how good he was, and to watch the I don't know what it was. It was the visceral feeling that it gave me, and I'm sitting there and they're moving lights behind him, and thank God I'm wearing a helmet because nobody saw my eyes sweating, but it was rough.
Yeah, he did an amazing job.
Yeah. As Spencer was saying, London was probably one of my favorite celebrations of recent times. Anaheim, seeing you guys all on stage was amazing with the Mandalorian kind of panel, and then the release of Ahsoka. But in London, they took it to another level where they revisited Mandalorian. We had Ray Stevens, and every the unveiling of Thrawn. It was just unbelievable, and then to get to meet
incredible
legendary actors with Return of the Jedi was just incredible. So
yeah, I did. I mean, look in the crew when we put this movie out. I think if I don't mean like cast, because I don't
Right.
honestly, I have no idea. But I will say this: I know there's crew that worked on Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, that are going to be on this movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So once it comes out, I'll make sure that if you didn't see it, I'll point it out for y'all.
There you
But
go.
yeah, it's
Quite
I
incredible.
don't know. I'm excited with
And
Ahsoka
it
though.
would be remiss of us to
John?
You broke up there.
Oh, sorry, Brendan. I was going to say it would be remiss of us not to think of, not to mention Shauna. Her
Oh.
passing was felt by everybody, and I would imagine very profoundly by you. Can you give us just like a idea of Shauna and your work with her?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you right now, I'm honored that I get to speak to somebody who I loved with my whole heart, who just as a professional was exceptional. She was beyond creative. Hers was more driven by the idea that she empowered those around her. She was the greatest boss I've seen in this business, because it wasn't about her. It was about them, and she did such a great job of saying to those around her, I trust you, do your job. And she really did. And it was so confusing at first for people. And then they realized, oh my God, this is a true boss in Hollywood. She's not trying to take credit. She was always great about it. I had at the end of season 2, she asked me to, tell her some things that are like she could improve. So I went and I drew the costume and pointed out things that I thought should change. Um,
Wow.
she kept that and had it framed and the whole deal. She copied it for all the costumers so that they could have a reference point, so nobody was ever wondering, what do I do? Uh,
Nice.
and she showed me so much respect in that way. It was incredible. On a personal level, one of her costumers, Gina, was really sick with a heart palpitation during COVID. We were on.
Uh-oh.
We tried to go see Gina in the hospital, but they were, like you had to have some DNA test and prove that you were related. Well, I lied and said I was her brother, so I was going up. And Shauna got there, and she was calling in. She's like, they won't let me up. And I said, hold on. So I went downstairs. We were over at UCLA, and I said, this is my wife. If you don't let her up, I'm going to absolutely throw a fit. So we became married in the eyes of the hospital. So Shauna and I love to call each other husband and wife.
Very
And so
cool.
we became a different kind of close, not biblically, but it's a tragic loss, and it happens just like obviously on Ahsoka. We lost one of our great characters as well. And you just think, we're better for having had them, and that's the way we got to move on. And we got to move on with absolute, integrity such as they had. Otherwise, we're failing them. So, Shauna, God rest her soul, and may her kids have peace in their life. She was amazing.
I only heard good things about her from people that had some, knew her well to minor interactions. It was always very, very positive.
I mean, the fact that she shared with people so many things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
their look.
She would put up like swatches of fabric that they were
Yeah.
using and things, and all kinds of crazy posts that were like detailed for the hardcore cosplayer or costumer to try to replicate what she had done. She was very open about that. It was really cool.
Well, the funny thing is, that's so like, I get calls from Lucasfilm. Hey, you got a picture on the internet behind the scenes, and you're laying in the sand like Burt Reynolds, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, maybe we don't do that. I can't imagine what she had to go through.
Oh yeah.
But she, you know what? We both
Wow.
we laughed about it all the time, that we 100% that although the studio hires us, you pay us. The people who watch are the ones who keep us working.
Yeah.
So
Those are your real boss.
yeah, who better to give to?
Well, you can tell when somebody really isn't just doing their work, but really enjoys their work and loves their work. And that was coming out in what she was doing. So it you could really feel it.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree. Oh, yeah.
So we're about to start the
100%.
watch along.
Yeah,
So
and what a
everybody
legacy to
queue-
leave, honestly.
queue up your Disney Plus for episode 5 of Ahsoka. But Dave, we had a really interesting question from London, England, about helmets. Dave, do you want to ask that?
So we did is I'll go ahead and put that one up there. So it's Facebook users should connect at StreamYard.com, by the way. But so great that the Mandalorian cast who couldn't remove their helmets have been given further roles in the universe. Is, you know, a lot of people who've been behind the scenes in one place are starting to get face characters here and there. So the user wants to know, which is the favorite helmet that you've worn? Which one is your favorite? Which one is easier to wear? Mando's or the X-Wing helmet? And by chance, would you have possibly acquired one of those into your personal collection somewhere?
I'll start with the last question first and say, I don't know. If they lost one, and it's not stealing unless somebody catches you. So moving on from that, I will say, that's a tough one. I guess professionally, my agent probably loves the idea of you seeing my face, but I mean, nothing's ever gonna be able to replace being the guy who put the helmet on and walked down those planks to the ice bar and let the door swing open and had a great bar fight. Like, to me, you get, there's X-Wing pilots and you got 50 of them that you can choose from. Like Tava, do you like, Luke as an X-Wing? You like, who is it? Poe. But there's only one Mando.
Definitely.
So I think putting on the Beskar, or the bucket as we like to call it, that probably means the most to me, because it really did answer and check off every box I've ever had since I was a kid through my professional career.
Well, as
one
one of our members actually said, it's tactical acquisition.
Yeah. I do have my hat from Cowboys and Aliens. I have found something on every other set that I've worked on. So, hey, I'll tell you. You want to know what? Since we're talking about Ahsoka, well, we are now. When I was doing the water scene, I peeked around. We were in a stage there. I almost said the number. We were on a stage there, and somebody said, "Go peek around that curtain." This is also another famous director who's about to put out the last 2 movies of his trilogy, not in this universe, but in his own. And that guy has kept something from every one of his films, and I mean, like, he's got a car. I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger as a robot, like those kind of things, and I was like, dude, I only take like trinkets. This dude took like a car. He took a baby stroller. He's got, the Avatar. It was crazy. Anyways, I digress.
So that's really what happened to the Razor. So that's why they blew up the Razor Crest, because the original one went missing. Got it. Okay.
You want to hear the stupidest thing I ever did? Turned down taking the land speeder.
Oh.
And I mean a full-size land speeder. They had stripped everything. It was foam, but it was the one that I used in season 1 to get taxied in because I didn't want the robot. It was
Right.
that one, and he was sitting there, and I'm like mid-season at that point, and I go, dude, I want that. And they're like, you can have it, and I thought they were kidding. And I said, ha ha ha, later. And I remember 2 weeks later, Johnny Mack says to me, one of the prop guys, he goes, or scene guys, he goes, dude, I can't believe you didn't take it. I'm like, wait, I could have taken it? Yes. Yeah, so I could have had a land speeder with Santa on my roof all year long.
Nice.
That would have been so cool.
Missed opportunity.
Clearly, I wasn't hired because I was intelligent.
All right, ready to go.
Why don't we start the episode, and we have a whole bunch of questions while we have it, so everybody's be able to watch it. So, Dave, why don't you do the 10-second countdown?
Jeff, why don't you do the 10-second? Wait, before we do the 10-second countdown, we talked about doing this before the show. We're going to try an experiment right now. If you're watching us on Instagram Live, we are going to cut your feed. We're going to end the stream there. So, because Instagram only gives us an hour. So, we're going to cut the Instagram feed. We're immediately going to reinstate it. So you can catch, and we'll have archived the entire watch along as that hour. So stand by just a little bit, and we're going to see if we can't cut our Instagram feed there.
And then bring it back up, and we'll be on
And
our
one
way.
of our moderators, April, says, who needs a hotel towel when you could have a land speeder?
Right?
Indeed.
There you go.
That's going to be on my tombstone. He said no.
It's a good one from Peter. Have you ever tried to
Chris
try it on?
Bartlett said if you hadn't turned down the droid, he would never have got to blow his whistle.
That sounds
Solid.
suspiciously dirty.
No, never.
All right.
So
I'm saying no more.
Peter Smith wants to know, have you ever tried on Dave's cowboy hat?
Okay, so which one? The one I gave him that he wears now? Or the previous one that looks like he took it off a kid when it was walking by?
Okay, so he obviously upgraded, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
The answer is yes.
Brendan apparently
Oh, look at that.
Brendan
Dave.
apparently had hat envy with my son outside the Westin in Anaheim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said,
It drew
"That's
me
a cool
to him.
hat."
Yep.
All right.
So yeah,
Yeah, that
right there in the corner
boot
is
band
our very
black
own,
hat on.
Dave Foloney.
Down there in the corner.
Oh, Lordy.
Yes.
What?
The
It
faux Dave.
doesn't pass. It doesn't work.
Pretty close. Change up
Oh,
the
yeah.
t-shirt.
Dave,
All right.
Dave and I, we have a great rivalry, especially because he's a silly bird fan, where I'm a king. So
Mhm.
with the Penguins and the Kings, it's been a beautiful
Penguins.
fight. Yeah.
It's fantastic. So Jeff, why don't we do the 10-second?
Are we ready to go there, Dave?
Give me about 2 more seconds. I'm copying the stream key right now.
Cool. Just give me a
Oh.
nod, and we'll start up the countdown. And we have there we go.
We have a
All right.
California team in the Super Bowl this year.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, they kinda
49ers.
Yeah.
Hey,
Here comes the
come
10
on
seconds.
now. Hey,
Taylor Swift
come
will
on
have
now.
to cover Madden next year. You know this, right?
We're gonna. All right. Here comes the countdown.
Ready when you are, Jeff.
There we go. Don't
So this
skip the
was
recap.
Oh,
Dude,
whoops.
never skip the recap.
So this
Love
was
to watch
absolutely
what
incredible, starting off this episode of the return of Anakin Skywalker. As an old school friend, Brendan, how was that for you?
How great was I don't know. I was lucky enough to watch Christian, watching them fight and practice. I would just go to watch. I'd watch Rosario, and it was everything you'd hope it to be. Like when I was a kid, I wanted him to be the baddest man alive. and to watch a human pulling it off in front of you, practicing, that was pretty amazing. But I loved it. Like, how do you outdo yourselves when you created the Mandalorian? I don't know. You bring in Ahsoka. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you bring in Anakin. Like how? Like, I can't wait to see what ends up happening. They've got to bring in like Bosk, right? We have to see that bounty hunter at some point. All right, wait, where is everybody? I just want to make sure I'm relatively in the same area.
Coming into Ahsoka in on the bridge here,
Beautiful. All right.
and then here comes Anakin.
So, were you a Rebels fan at all?
I was later. Well, I hate doing this because then Dave gets a big head because I refuse. First of all, I always call it cartoons, and it drives Dave crazy. He's like, it's called animation. Kappa better. It's like, I did that too. So, yes, I did. I became a fan of Rebels because my agent was like, you need to watch this. I'm like, bro, I watch cartoons with my kids all day. He's like, dude, everyone gets so mad. I love how precious everybody is. But yeah, he's right. It's animation.
Well, we have a whole show about that.
Oh, that's funny.
And they are very precious about it, but it deserves it.
Being now a fan of Rebels, what was the thing you were most excited about seeing in live action besides obviously Rosario as Ahsoka?
I'll be honest with you, that for me, that's probably it. Is Ahsoka, especially because it was Rosario.
Yeah, she
you know, at that point, you go, oh man, everybody loves the robots, and maybe that helped me get cast as the Mandalorian, but I've never loved the robots. They annoy the heck out of me. And so like R2 and all that, it's so funny because I say it to Chris and he's like, what? I'm like, I'm kidding. I love Zero as long as he's dead.
Zero's pretty mad at it. Okay.
And here I was about to say, oh, look, Chris is in the crowd. No, I'm kidding. It has happened. I love Chopper. I mean, I love even the
some of them are very fun
in the animation, but the fact that they got him right live action, obviously that's, Dave doing the voice of it, is just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, why would you want someone professional to do the voice? That's like
I was going to say. I'm glad they brought Rosario into season 3, into Mandalorian, because I think bringing her into Ahsoka would have been amazing. But it's just that little teaser. It's just that little. Here's what we're going to bring to you. This is what's coming down the line. Right.
And the fact that they did
genius. That was such a good idea.
It was, I don't know. It really did speak to quite a few things for me. That episode, The Jedi, will always be one of my favorite because that was, Dave pushed it so that I could do that part. And I got to work with Michael Biehn, obviously.
For me, that episode and the final episode.
Yeah.
I was going to say that the Jedi and the final episode were the two most anticipated episodes for me of that season. It's like, we're gonna see Ahsoka. It's gonna probably be Rosario, and then obviously Skywalker at the end was just, the rumors and all the talk about that season was just off the hook.
But what about with Ahsoka?
Gives me chills thinking about it.
She fought one of the 3 sisters, and we didn't know. I love when the seeds grow and they don't grow quickly.
Right.
It's frustrating, but to me, it's so Star Wars. It's like, he froze Han Solo, and I didn't get to have any resolution to that for 3 years.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, right?
I remember those days.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, my kids
3
are
years
Again,
was
the
a long time at that
the
age.
connection, the
because now they're
connection
like,
with that
"You're
episode,
making me do
the
it."
Jedi,
Oh yeah,
Diana doing her scene with Ahsoka, and then we come back here, and is she dead? Did she capture her? What happened to her? So
what exactly?
great,
And the best
great
is
continuity.
Diana has no idea.
Right. She's just doing what's in the moment. And
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, here's this after the fact kind of thing.
Yeah, we definitely like Diana and myself. We got really close. We were very close. Her husband Ron is an amazing dude too. Incredible with swords.
Know them both
One of the
very
great.
well.
Yeah, I mean Ron, it's one of the best knife fighters and knife fight teachers in the world. And I mean like literal knives, not like play.
Yeah.
The guys who protect us in the world, how to use their knives. It's amazing.
Yeah. I met Ron in a dojo in Hollister during the pandemic
Get out.
with Diana, by the way, and she was inducted into the 501st that day, so that was cool to witness that.
Yeah.
Brandon, I got a technical question for you.
Such
Back in
lovely
the
people.
old days of Star Wars, they used to take a lot of recycled weapons to turn them into Star Wars weapons. Do they still kind of play with that a little bit when they're making the guns for you guys? Sidearms, are they like guns that have been turned into weapons, or is it something totally designed new?
Here's your homework. My guns at the end of season 3 are target pistols. They're single shot target pistols, and then they've now been run through whatever the Star Wars glam. Go find them, and then ask me again. You can send it to me. I don't care how you do it. Spencer's got my stuff. Send me your ideas, and I'll tell you if you're right. I'll show you the actual guns. And those were guns that John liked. And that's I ended up with those 2 guns because my gun gets damaged and tossed, so I have to pick up the 2 guns.
Okay.
But yes, to answer your question, 1,000,000%.
Now I do. Now I do know that Han Solo's blaster is based on a Mauser from World War II.
That's right.
No, I'm being a nerd. I'm just saying that it's that little boxed C96 clip type pistol.
And at the even at the Christmas special, my rifle, the Ambien? It's based on one, and I cannot recall what it is. Ugh.
Days.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Uh-oh, there it is right there. Only orange.
Yes. The nerf of you.
I have that in the box.
How was it working with Paulie Carcentiva?
What a regular guy. You know what I mean? Like he's a great actor, but he is just a regular dude. So you don't have to put on airs around him, and you're having fun. And he's a stickler for the rules. So I'll just take pictures of us and send them to his phone so he doesn't get in trouble. But like he loves baseball. I love baseball. So his Blue Jays, my Dodgers.
He's Canadian.
I know. I don't understand. Like, what do Canadians have though? Honestly, we took their heart. I mean, we have colonized their sport. So what are they gonna do? Snowball fights.
Right.
They still have
I think
lacrosse.
Lalani's quite friendly with him, so good for her.
Oh yeah, you made that sound dirty, but I don't know what it was. He you know what is fun is that he knows so many people I know outside of this galaxy that yeah, I mean Has he been on this?
No, we have not been able to get him yet.
All right, I'm going to tell him.
Put in a good word for us.
I will, 100%.
We are very sure that we would enjoy his presence.
Oh,
He might enjoy it too. So.
Yes, and just say A after everything.
He's a bigger geek than any. He's a bigger geek than any of you.
Uh-oh.
Like any Star Wars like geekdoms that you guys think you. He is on another level.
He was a cosplayer before he got cast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I've sat and watched his podcast where he's like rebuilt his basement and he's got all these custom display cases and things coming in.
Yeah.
He's
you know, it's funny. I want to just talk to people randomly, and I know like you're not supposed to do that on social media. And sometimes it's okay, and sometimes you're like, "Whoa, my God, you're really scary." But for the most part, it's been really great. And I became friends with this guy Greg out in Arizona. I went and did a comic book store signing, Justice and Collector's Choice, and we knew each other from social media. Then we met. He had served his country, my country, and we had kind of some mutual feelings, and I respect what he's done, and that's one thing that I do love about is that as rabid as the fans are, I haven't had any. I mean, there's people who think I hate Pedro or whatever. They can kiss my ass, but the rest of them are so fun. Like they're what you hope you get out of a show, which is people don't have to deal with their daily. It's a nice place for them to go away, and the fact that you're able to carry it outside of the show and still enjoy it, which I do for my fandoms. It makes it really cool. So I will say that without a doubt, this fandom is one to honor and if you can, give them everything because they'll give it back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
Well, looking at that right now, what we're watching right now,
it's interesting.
We're watching live action Clone Wars, which is obviously I hate the term fan service, but this is what we've been waiting for since the Clone Wars cartoons.
Right? I mean, think about it. Like he got to practice what he was going to do.
Based on what you were saying a minute ago, Brendan, what you were saying a minute ago, Daisy Ridley was on the Today Show last week, and there was some assertion made during an interview with her about the fandom being very strange and odd and so on. And she said, no, every interaction I've ever had has been positive, amazing, crescendo of love for what I do, and I don't want to speak badly of anybody because I've only had positive experiences. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I've grown up around fandom. Clearly my grandfather had a few fans, so you can see on these things, and they can be really, I don't know, detrimental. I mean, I watch people politicize this stuff, and I even with my grandfather, while he was this, I'm like, first of all, you're talking 1970s. You're not talking 2023 when nobody can say anything without getting pissed on. Let's be real here. I just always speaking for other people. That's why I love Star Wars, because the canon's writing, people are questioning what's going on, but nobody is. I don't know, like even the redemption of Jar Jar Binks, right? Bringing Ahmed in and having this dude
awesome
just
character,
be badass. I mean, come on, like those kind of things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
I was sitting there in Anaheim watching Hayden talk about what was coming up for him, and just watching his face as the fans sat there and just were screaming for him, and getting to feel a different feeling than maybe what he got during the prequels era was just really, it was cool. It was fun. It was invigorating to see him getting that energy from the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for him
Yeah.
to actually
And the Mando
be
panel,
able to absorb it.
Yeah, and the Mandalorian panel in Anaheim, Carl said, "What is this? A football playoff?" He said, "This is insane." The love and the energy in the room felt like that to him.
Oh man, I it's pretty incredible. I've played in front of 22,000, but there's something very magical about, it doesn't matter what age you are, you get to bring your inner kid out unabashedly in like-minded people around you get to be innocent and feel good and enjoy, and it's storytelling at its apex. So yeah, it's a whole different kind of feeling.
Well, I attribute a
There's a
lot of
purity
this.
to it.
There's nothing more motivating than bringing
I
joy
attribute
to
a lot of the
people's lives.
renaissance right now, mostly because like the kids of the prequel era are now the parents. So the love that's going on is basically because it's their Star Wars is now coming back into fashion.
Yeah, and I didn't write it, so I'm not taking any credit. It's really good. It's the kind of stuff that you wanted as an old guy like I am. It's what you wanted to see. You wanted this. I don't know. You wanted the cowboy back, and you got it, and you got Hamill back, and it wasn't cheap. It was good. That's when you say fan service, that's what I was thinking. They do that quite a bit, and a lot of shows do that, but Star Wars does it in a way that I don't feel it. Looking for or like I don't know. It's just not weak. They do it and they do it and they mean it. They're not doing it just to,
with meaning. It's got
Yeah.
it's moving the story along. It's not just giving the fans what they want.
Yeah, fan service.
Yes, that's
done
gravitas.
right. Yeah.
Well, there's good fan service and there's bad fan service. Good fan service moves the story along, ties everything together, and excites the people watching the show. Bad fan service is just doing something to do it.
Yeah, just so that you can sell something. I agree.
I mean, I loved, like we just saw there, we saw
It's a visceral feeling. It's that I cannot wait to see the next episode.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we just saw like in the shadows. We just saw Anakin turn to Vader for a second, and then back to Anakin. I was just like,
that's for me. That was it removed me from the equation, but that was as cool a thing as I've seen since the door swung open and the cape was flying in the wind and Mando walks into that bar. I mean, that was
amazing,
unreal.
Right.
And it's again, it's like, how do you, Boba Fett's episode in Mandalorian? How do you introduce him in a way that makes you go, "Oh, let's go"? And sure, you land him on a boulder and he just starts cracking people, and that's how does Ahsoka drop in? Like they just understand. I don't know. They understand the mythology for sure, and how to present it in a way that lights you up. I mean, me walking into the meat locker, as we called it, in Boba Fett, the going through those little plastic things and walking in like, oof. I remember Bryce going, "This is going to be so hot." And I was like, "Are we done yet?" It was amazing.
We were hoping that you'd see someone like
that
holding
reveal.
it. We were hoping someone was going to hold the meat like they were Paulie with Rocky punching at it like while you walked by.
I guarantee you, if they still have the outtakes, they're there. There's moments where Latif and I are cracking. Some of that meat was real, which it did not smell great at the end of it.
Hot set.
As soon as we saw the outline behind the, as soon as we saw the outline behind those
curtains,
like, wow. So, question for you, Brendan. Oh, this is going to be a tough one, and it's like picking your favorite child. I'm sorry to ask you this. So,
just tell me
for
the
Mandalorian,
which one.
Sorry, it's a Ahsoka episode. Starfighter or Razor Crest?
Razor Crest.
Definitely Razor Crest.
Ooh,
You'll
good
never
choice.
get me out of the soccer wagon. The soccer ball wagon.
That's so funny.
There you go.
I think the N1 Starfighter is nice
I was
to
hoping
have
you'd say that.
in the garage, as it were, for tooling around here and there and buzzing the tower. But overall, that Razor Crest, man.
The N1 is my AC Cobra, which is my favorite car in the world. My daughter painted me a 6-foot tall painting of an AC Cobra.
Wow.
It is the car that I will own, but I can't own it while I have kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do?
Bar
Like,
very high.
Yeah, when that nest gets empty, though.
My son has it. So my son, the one you met in Anaheim, has lots of trucks, but he has a Fox body Mustang right now. He's hoping to trade that for an AC Cobra.
Well, my father and 2 of my brothers and myself built a Porsche Speedster kit, and they sell now the Cobra kits.
Oh wow!
Which I build with my kids, just so that they understand how gasoline engines work. Even though we're moving on, but like how to use these things, and I mean they have a go-kart that I make. You got to mix the oil and the gas to make sure.
Yeah.
Like those are the things that's what it's funny when I think of Star Wars, even though it's so advanced, I think of those basic themes too, because it was part of my childhood, just like that.
That rudimentary technology.
This is a carburetor. This is how it works.
Well, and think about it. The Razor Crest, 100%. That's how we treat it. It was like a Pinto at one point. Like I'm trying to put it together with string and spider tape.
Yeah.
And
if you've ever owned a car in the 70s or 80s, the Razor Crest is a very good direct connection.
It's before the K cars, but it's like right in between there, and it's like the bad Chevelle. No one else had to work on their ship like I did. You know what I mean? Like it was nobody's working on their X-wing like that. Yoda's pulling it out of the soup with his magical powers. I didn't have that. I had to go and rebuild it, try to get it through the ice storm, and then those Gideon punks blew it up.
Yeah, we were all very devastated.
Dodgy wiring.
It had a bathroom. What other ship has openly had a bathroom in Star Wars history?
We talk about that all the time. But what about you? Also had that 80s car repair scene with Amy when you guys were rebuilding the N1 Starfighter. You needed some 80s hair metal playing in the background.
Hey, how about this? Just to bring it through Star Wars in a roundabout way, that I called the Corvette Summer scene.
There you go.
And I was like, "You're my Annie Potts, and I'm Hamill. This is amazing."
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
we actually watched that
for a sec.
Years ago.
I stepped away for a second, did some research. Tell me if your pistol is it an 8mm Bergman?
Can you put it in the chat? Can I see a picture of it?
Ooh. Let's see.
I don't think you put a link in the chat.
Can we put pictures in the chat?
I don't think so. Well,
I love
maybe.
the mastery of the dark side that Anakin could flip a switch and go from like Vader to Anakin like in a second. Like he's finally the master.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah, this is...
oh God, there's so many things that you saying that just triggered, and you think of spoiler alert, Darth Vader at the end, with Luke, and him making the right choice, and George's thing that it's almost like you feel that the old wolf story. Speed is the one that you become. Is it And so with the Force, it's everybody has it, and everybody's capable of being good or bad, and that's what I love about Grogu, because he could be bad. All it's going to take is one thing. Mando dies. Does he go bad?
What twists him enough to go dark? Or
because he's already shown some things that scared some. Well, I'm not a Jedi, but I'm a Jedi. Ahsoka and those people, like he's shown some darkness. He almost killed Gina or Cara Dune.
That was pretty intense.
That's a lot of power that kid has.
He almost killed Carl.
Yeah, but also he saved Carl's life.
I know. But here we go.
Coming up on the amazing tank scene.
This tank of water was Cameron's, and he used it in filming Avatar.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it seems fairly sizable.
It's huge. The best part was that I didn't have to get in the water.
He's got to stay up on the deck. Huh?
So great.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We were very pleasantly surprised to see you participating in this rescue effort. Well, your character, let's say.
Cool. Once again, Mando saves her ass.
There you go. He shows up.
Not for the first time.
And now, she's like, let's go climb in a whale's mouth.
Basically.
It reminds me of that scene from Finding Nemo.
Yes.
Did he say back in the throat or root beer float?
Jesus.
But we're not going to hawk the track and talk about whales and Star Trek. Okay?
What? They're whales in Star Wars now. They're just...
You're not hawking the track anymore. You're hawking the horse.
So when we're flying I'm flying my X-Wing, and I'm looking out, and I'm seeing these, I don't know, whale fish, whatever they're called, flying in the galaxy or whatever. Dave's on what we call the God mic, directing me, and he's saying things like, at first he's like, I want you to be like in wonderment, like this is amazing, and then he starts saying things like, like if the Kings ever won anything, imagine the Kings beat the Penguins, and so like I start laughing, and I can literally watch the scene and go, oh yeah, that's when he said that. Oh, that's when he said this. It's hilarious. But yeah. But I mean,
we live on the West Coast, so we're used to Wales, Monterey, Monterey
exactly,
Alameda,
part of our life.
I've literally had my hand on the back of a whale while I was on my surfboard and hung out with it.
Nice.
Okay, we have to ask this one. I love this question.
Uh-oh.
When Brendan was flying, did you make any of your own sound effects? Zoom, zoom, pew, pew.
No, the sound effect I made was woo, woo, and all of a sudden Dave goes, Hey, you're on mic. Sorry. I'm in an X-Wing, guys. Let's go.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, you didn't get this excited in your Razor Crest. I'm like, it was different. I had to be professional then. This is childhood dreams. I never even knew a Razor Crest existed.
This is bucket list stuff. I've flown a.
Did you ever
X-Wing,
ask to
come
buzz the tower?
I of course would say it, and then they wouldn't. They would be like, "That's Top Gun. We're not doing that."
That'd cost
Okay,
me.
so that 8mm, just so like, looks a lot like my Mando gun, not the gun I ended up with.
Ah.
So go when you watch that last episode. It's close, but it's got less handle and trigger and a longer barrel. It almost looks like a Desert Eagle or a Dirty Harry. What is it? The 44.
Nice. Blow your head clean off.
And this scene proves it. Hu Yang is for the younglings.
There you go.
Do you feel lucky?
That still just blows my mind that that's like a largely practical robot. It's like, what level of crazy did it take to want to do that instead of just CG the whole thing?
I feel like it's I think CG, just on a business standpoint, I think CG might cost more.
Oh yeah.
And then the idea that we're doing Star Wars and we, there is commonly spoken, we owe to those who came before us. And, John always wants to do more practical, even though he's created this incredible volume. He still wants to do more practical than he wants to do CGI if he can help it. I think Disney wants him to do a lot more practical too. Save them a couple bucks.
Well, it's interesting you should say that. Well, it's interesting you should say that because I just watched the new Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus, and I enjoyed it. I liked the movie better, but I enjoyed it. But they showed the behind the scenes episode the other day, and they talked about filming at the Toronto volume. So it was interesting seeing them talking about other volumes, not just the one that you guys.
There's one in Australia as well.
Yeah, there was, and I think there's now 2 in England, in London at what is it called, Mayfair? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Marvel's moving a bunch of their production out to the other side in London.
So if you could play any other character other than Lander or Mando in Star Wars, who would you want to play?
Bosk.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Good choice.
Is that your favorite bounty hunter besides Mando?
Boba, then him. Yeah. I mean, Boba was my favorite, just period. And then Bosk, I mean, that dude. He's the baddest man alive.
Introduction of him standing there with his foot hanging over the edge of the little ledge there, and the those officers just weirding out on his whole vibe, and him being very Bosk was amazing.
My question is
why
London seen him?
Again, which is why London Celebration was special, that we got to see a lot of the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi actors, the British actors that we don't really see here. To hang out with them was just like, what's going on?
I'm gonna go across the pond this year, and for the first time, and be in London at some point. I don't know when I get to announce it, but it's going to be shortly.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Maybe he'll play boss.
Why don't we have more of
Great.
him?
Yeah, there was his species in Book of Boba Fett.
And in Mando.
Mando,
He tried to jump us.
Before you said the Mudhorn.
Yep.
Yeah, the Trandosians.
But
those guys were tracking the child as well.
Yeah, I mean, I want that. I gotta assume.
So-
there's just no way you can go without getting him in there. I gotta assume that it's gonna come with Thrawn movie and all that, or
So
Ahsoka too. And
just put an idea in my head. So who did a lot of these stunt scenes for the Mudhorn scene? Was that JJ or
no,
before
JJ wasn't there
his
yet.
time?
That
Oh,
was
okay.
Lateef doing the big stunts
Okay.
on that. Like he was getting yanked and pulled through the mud. That was brutal. That was a brutal day. God, that was a
rough.
brutal day. Yeah, it was great because he'd get yanked and thrown, and then they'd be like, okay, now you fall back, and I'd just fall back. Like he's getting yanked 50 yards. Go fall
Just
into
laid
it.
in the
I'm
mud.
like, yeah. I'm like,
Laid
I'm
in the mud
in.
and got up.
Yeah, I was the stick in the mud. Wait,
Oh,
all right, where are you guys?
Lateef. Do you know Lateef? Wow, that guy, man, he went through a lot. Both of you did that. Lateef as well.
There's whale fish.
Yeah. One fish, two fish.
Hey,
Lateef,
big
honestly,
ass whale fish.
is one of the most incredible athletes I've ever met. By far, one of the greatest stuntmen. I mean, he's one. Like, it's crazy.
He's my favorite vampire.
Say it again. Oh yeah. So I mean, I think we talked about it, but I'll just reiterate that my kid was the one who goes, "Oh my God, Dad, Lateef's a vampire." I was like, "What?" It's like in Twilight. I'm like, "No, he's not." And then she showed me, the amount of crap that we give him on the daily. I'll just a picture of him. So this ship, right, like when she's standing out on her ship in Ahsoka here, are we there yet? Is everybody there? Or am I ahead? So that thing was huge, and that was on the back lot. Obviously, they weren't flying whales, but like it was amazing to see the spectacle and to watch Rosario fill all of outside with her presence in a way that you're like, come on, that's not real. And she just does. It was incredible.
Mhm.
She's beyond talent.
She is. She's amazing. We Spencer and I were lucky enough to have a photograph and a meet and greet with her and Ashley, both as Ahsoka
really?
in London. So that was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
That is
very cool.
That is really cool. Oh,
Yeah.
here, wait.
I met her in April last year, and I chatted to her, and I said, "Look, I'll be in London." And fair play to her. When I got to London, I saw her. She said, "You made it." I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
I want you to know that's not just Boba Fett. It's a Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Oh,
Really?
What?
Yes.
Dude, that's old school.
I think
That's
I
from
got
my
that in
childhood.
Brussels. Yeah, that's why I got it. I got one for everybody in my family, all my brothers. But yeah, it was so
Now,
cool.
so Brendan, this is beyond Stretch Armstrong. Can you remember Atomic Man? I'm sure Dave,
Yes.
our Dave, is a huge, kind of fan of this kind of like character. So you had Atomic Man and G.I. Joe, and the British people had Action Man,
yes.
which was the equivalent of
Is that really?
Action Man.
I love this. Oh my God, that is lovely. That makes me
I
very
may or may
happy.
not have just put a bid on one on eBay.
Shopping, right?
That is
This
hilarious.
Great exchange here between this ship captain and Carson.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's go back to talking about Shauna for a minute. These costumes right here are like, I'm thinking of like General Maydean from Return of the Jedi. Same kind of coloring, feel, texture. It's like she's suited the game, and it felt like right out of there.
Yeah. Well, and then with the right amount of creativity, like I wish you guys could have been in the rooms listening to them, because I was, and to be able to hear them like just tossing ideas off each other, or watching them, cut a swath and go, no, we need to add this in here. It's going to give it a certain like depth, and you're like, how that,
That's very cool.
Hmm.
The creative process.
very cool. Yeah, and then you do that. We have what they call the show and tells for the directors, and you see them, and she walks up confidently. She's not freaking out. She wants it to look a certain way when they see it, but like she's good. Like she knew exactly, hey, this is what I got for you. And I think that creativity mixed with confidence and belief in her in the people around her, uh, it easier for the producers and directors to choose. Yeah, we're good. This is the right look.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, they use her protege in the Mando, Grogu, and Ahsoka too, and they pay it forward that way, because Shauna would have.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure she had a legacy. Definitely.
Oh, her.
Also, if she's somebody she mentored, would be the ideal person to kind of continue her whole legacy in
Yeah,
terms of style and everything.
yeah, ease the choice, and it hopefully it's an obvious one, and they don't complicate it by trying to, I don't know,
Yeah.
do something stupid. We'll see.
All right. What does whale breath smell like? That's what I want.
Do you want me to answer that?
I don't know.
Oh, you smelled the whale blowhole when you were hanging out with them on the surfboard?
And now I don't even have to describe it. You said blowhole.
It's the technical term. Anyway.
It smells like sea foam.
Ah.
God, 20 years ago, I might have said something that could have come back and haunted me.
Well, my son's a surfer as well, and he says you got a lot of dolphins actually hanging out more than anything else, playing in the surf.
Yeah. And you're safe when they're there, because they don't stay where there's trouble. I did have a seal try to assault me in a way that was
assault. Yeah,
they are they're a randy bunch of animals, aren't they?
yes. I was going to say assault.
They literally
is the right
are.
word.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. They're going to Pound Town.
So there's an interesting line actually in the next episode, which has shown a lot of controversy, but at the same time has been awesome. That they talk about Hu Yang says telling a story, and he starts a story with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. What did that make you feel when you heard that that's actually a part of the story now?
For me, I cheered. I didn't even read that. I watched it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I've said it before, but I try not to read the scripts because I am a fan, and I like to, if I'm not in it and I don't need to know specifics, like lines and things like that, I like to just enjoy it like everyone else. So to hear that was one of those, like when I went to see the movie Die Hard in the movie theaters, and he says "Yippee-ki-yay," and the whole theme. That was me in that moment. I was like, yeah. So that was pretty cool.
I was actually fortunate for this particular episode to go to one of the fan events and watch it on the big screen. And this was just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And there it is. Excellent episode.
Yep.
Yeah. Good choice.
Dave knows what he's doing, huh? It's funny to think about him saying to me, I'm not really, I don't really know how to do this live action stuff, And then
I think he does an excellent job.
Yeah. One thing about him is that he is not afraid to learn. And it doesn't matter if it's in the moment, but, when he's on set, but he does his homework before he gets there. But if you can give him something, like he understands it. Like he's able to, he's like a great athlete. Oh God, I'm going to compliment him. He's like a great athlete in that when you coach them, they're able to take the adjustment, not the criticism. And that's something, we hope to have in life, right? Is that, people could tell us, hey, if you do this, it'll raise your levels. And you don't think I'm doing it wrong to do this.
Right.
So
very cool.
Well, considering the only good athlete to come out of Pittsburgh was Kurt Angle, then
the best.
Marino.
Shots fired.
Yeah, Dan Marino.
There's a shocking amount of people who came out of Pittsburgh that are, other than Dave, that are really talented, like Steve Byrne, Ming Na Wen.
She was Carnegie Mellon. That's right.
Dave and Ming Na went to the same high school.
Really?
Did you like? That is, they didn't go to high school in Pittsburgh.
That's pretty cool.
This is crazy. Yeah. I got a great picture.
Ming Na's an anomaly.
Oh, she is everything you want in anything.
Mm-hmm.
She's smart. She's fierce. She's kind, gorgeous, empathetic, passionate. Like she's anything. Like she could do and be anything at any time.
I mean, you had her as Fennec Shand, but we also knew her as a Calvary in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it was like another badass character to play.
I fought her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I know.
I was Yeeling's henchman.
Nice.
Me and Gordon, Richard Harris's kid, Jamie, fought the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to get the girl. Now I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Maybe like Alzheimer kicked in.
Well, Agent May still did not save all of China the way Fa Mulan did. I'm just saying.
Let's get down to business.
Yes, to defeat the Huns.
Did we just lose him?
No, he's there.
Musical chairs.
That was interesting.
So,
yeah,
Brendan, we saw that you're going to be doing a comic book signing May the 4th in DC. Can you tell us about that?
How cool is that? Yeah, it's a 10-year anniversary of the comic book store. My buddy, who also does my reps me for appearances, Mike Bologna, he lives out there. He's like, hey, would you want to do this? And I could probably get you to throw out the first pitch at the game if we could try. And I was like, dude, you had me a comic book store. I'm in. Let's go. I love DC. That's that's going to be out of sight. I have like, I don't know. I'm up for 2 pilots right now. So that may change. I'd still be able to make the Saturday for sure for that. But there's 2 new shows out, and cross our fingers. I get to go do this. But they're both incredible, and you guys are going to watch them on different streaming channels. And God, I mean, I'll tell you this: there's one at Universal and one at Amazon. The Universal one, since we're all geeks, you're gonna love who's in it. If I get to be in it with, like, you're gonna love it no matter what. Doesn't matter if I'm in it. But who I would be in it with is definitely another one of those. Oh, dude, that one is, from when we were kids, we watched that really cool Kids Growing Up movie, and he was awesome. Yeah, sweet. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Can I be more vague and suck?
Good enough.
DC,
Okay,
here we come.
Yeah,
I
I mean, seriously, Skip and I may see you there. We've already been plotting and planning to road trip up to DC for that one, just because you'll be here on the East Coast for a change.
Oh, I mean, right? Like,
Me too.
I have more fun out there. I know this. I'm gonna definitely be in Prague in April with Tate and Emily.
Cool.
I'll be in DC in May, London in May, I think, maybe.
Good.
I'll be in Texas in June, and then a couple other places for sure. I'm trying maybe Valencia, Spain, but we'll see.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
No, I've been
that'll
trying
be
for a
fun.
while. I keep track of you, and it'd be like you'll announce I'll be here, and I'll be like, dang. And it's like, okay, we got to get you over here to the East Coast. So DC is not that far away from Dave and I. So we're
No,
already.
I did Terrificon last year.
You did, and I was so upset that I couldn't come up and meet up with you and Tate that night. I was so upset about that.
That was such a good one to just hang out. Honestly, like, it's such a mellow con that it was just really cool to just hang out and and have fun, And then I did New York Comic Con, which this year was a zoo. My God, I wasn't even with everyone else. Like, Latif and I were up in the exhibitors hall with a whole bunch of other people. Like, Tom Hardy was next to us signing, and I was like, "How low rent are you that you have to be near us? What the hell happened?" Like, I didn't. I'm like, I said to him, "I'm like, did you get canceled? What happened?" It's crazy. I had a story about Tom, is I was being a reader for casting director. Um, I wasn't reading that day. I just happened to be at the office, and they were like, "You got to see this guy who's coming in for this movie we're doing called Warrior." And first of all, this, English guy walks in, and I'm like, "What's so big?" And he comes in, and he's very, very nice and unassuming and charming. He says, "Do you mind if I step out for a minute? I'll be right back." And I think he went up to, what was it, the Beverly Center, and got a new shirt, came back. He's in an Affliction t-shirt, and everything about him has changed. He is no longer this English, bloke walking in. He is a tough as metal. Like, the change was unbelievable. I had to sit in and watch, and it was breathtaking. Like, I've been in a lot of auditions like that on the, as a fly on the wall, and you just don't see that very often. You don't just see, oh, this dude is an absolute star. This is amazing. Like, his ability to bring that character back in 25 minutes later in a way that made you feel unsettled because the character of the warrior is so like intense, and the guy who came in before was so sweet and kind. You're like, oh, it really is acting, and he is. If I got to play any character in the world and did it well, I'd want to be Tom Hardy. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
compliment.
Yeah, that
Nice.
dude is unreal. Yeah.
You have to watch him in a movie called Legend,
Oh,
which is
God,
about
no,
the
he's in.
craze.
Yeah, no, it's how good is he? How good is that movie? That is one of the most underrated movies.
Yeah. So coming from the UK and being British, my family and my parents remember the craze. Not personally, but remember that time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was what's the other one? Chopper. You know, like these bigger than life criminals, like, but the craze. Weren't they another breed? That was amazing.
Yeah. So if you're in Washington, D.C., I have a friend that runs a bar very close, or bar restaurant very close to the White House called The Bottom Line. That's where they shot Clint Eastwood movie In the Line of Fire. He plays the piano. That's
I'm going
my
there.
friend
Bottom
runs that
line.
bar.
I'm going there.
That's where my friend. Yeah. Well, we'll meet you there. Dave, Skip, and I will meet you there.
The last, God, this is embarrassing now I think about it. The last time I was in Washington, D.C., they were minting a coin. Congress was minting a coin for my grandfather.
Right.
And Maureen O'Hara got up there, spoke at Congress and said, and we were there, and said, you know, they said, what should we put on the coin? And she got up and said, John Wayne, American. And that's literally what it says. It's one of the most unreal things. If I can find some, and I see you guys in Washington, if I have it, if I can find some, I'll give you one. Like, I know you guys are collectors of things. This is unbelievable. And
Is that the same one that they've had put in? They put in the Winchester rifle stock. That minute one.
Yep.
That's right. You showed us that gun last time, didn't you?
Yep. I mean, I got one under my bed right now. Funny enough.
Yeah. He's getting it.
I did. I literally was. I was like, am I gonna reach under here? And
we have to take this offline once we finish the broadcast. I will tell you about my experience with one of the most infamous rifles of all time. Look at that.
That is
Wow.
Great likeness.
yeah.
Oof.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh God, I love this gun.
Incredible. Just that noise.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you while we're here and we still have people in the room. You still have the bastard around?
It was in the corner last time, I think.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. But
Show
it's
us.
not. It's
You know you
it's
want
in the,
to.
It's outside
Okay.
office, and I'm not in my office right now.
No, it's okay.
So good. I forgot. That's so good.
Oh, you don't understand it. Ever since the last time you were on here, that's all we call it. We don't call it the best spear. It's the bastard. Like we don't call it anything else.
And you know what's funny is I just don't. You know, I value this stuff, like talking to other people and things like that, a lot, and I forget that I have things that are a different way, and so like I just for like clearly I have Tourette's or something, and I say things and I don't think twice about it, and then people be like, remember when you said this? And I'm like, oh God, I said it, and I said it out. Like I just need a little filter once in a while.
Filters are overrated.
I mean,
yeah,
it's they haven't served me very well, so we're okay.
Well, we have a couple of stories and stuff we'll talk about offline after the show. But first and foremost, Brendan, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It was an absolute pleasure, and it's always a pleasure having you on with us.
Well, thank you guys. Honestly, you know how much it means to me, and I'll always come on with you guys as long as I'm, able to speak. Even then, I probably would come on and just cause a mockery anyway. So,
No, it's great. First off, we'll definitely we'll talk after the show. But Dave, anything you want to plug before we get out?
Oh my goodness. Watch all the content that's coming up on the Virtual Cantina Network. We've got an episode of Jedi Archives coming up as the first Sunday. And they're talking about more of the High Republic comics. And that's leading into so much more High Republic content. If you want to understand stuff that's going on in like the Acolyte and that sort of thing, this is a place to start right there with the Jedi Archives. Mike, John, and Bryce will cover all of those things. And then, of course, join us next week again for a new episode of Rebels Revisited, so you can understand all of the things that are in the live-action Rebels Season 5, which is Ahsoka. Join us there.
Our
and
favorite.
always, join us on Zoom, like live, when we just kind of do this in there. In the happy hour, you can come in and you can be just as snarky and stuff as we are on the show here, just to us in person. Please do.
Yes.
Charming. I don't know if I'd call you snarky. I think it's charming.
There we go.
Indeed.
We're a bunch of
Wish my wife thought
sarcastic.
that way.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much, Brian, for joining us. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We had a great crowd tonight on all of our platforms. Please make sure that you watch along with us and our future stuff as well. Get ready for our big trip to California this summer. A lot of fun, going to a lot of great places. Got 26 tickets left. Hope to see you all there. So thank you very much once again, Brendan. So
Wait, what are you guys doing? When are you guys coming out here?
July.
The big trip in July and August. Remember we talked a little bit about that?
Okay, so you guys, what are we doing?
End of July.
Okay, we'll talk off. We'll
Come
talk
on, Bellamy.
Come to hang out
We're
with
gonna do
you.
some fun stuff. Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk
Let's go
offline after
shooting.
this. Definitely, got some good stuff planned. But anyway, from the usual suspects and Skip, may the force be with you.
Have a great one.
Nobody likes Jedis.